What's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode 151. It's like Mew of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. As always, I'm Tim Gettys, joined by one of the coolest dudes in video games, Greg Miller.
Why I always gotta make it about the Pokemons?
Because it is to me. It's
151 isn't that's an alcohol, isn't it?
It's also Mew.
Yes, I thought it was Bacardi.
Mewtwo is number 150 and Mew is number 151.
I think 151 might be. It's been a long time. I think it might be an ingredient in Caribou Lou, the drink Tech 9 drinks.
Okay.
I think it's 151 Malibu rum. Shit, I haven't listened to that song in forever.
This is the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Each and every week, we get together right here to talk about video games and all the things that we love about them. You can go to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames to get the show early, just like our Patreon producer, Tom Bach, did. Tom Bach, thank you for being an amazing human being. We appreciate you a lot. You can get the show early there, or you can get the show late on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, which is fine. We still love you too. If you want to subscribe to that channel, that'd be great. Coming up on 230,000.
Yeah, I keep saying I'm gonna push people, but then it's just like we're getting out of here, you know, with the holidays and stuff. So it's just I'll wait till we get back.
Yeah,
it's like 151 rum, pineapple juice, and Malibu, Caribou, get them all numb. Make baby girl come. Yeah, that's
yeah, there you go.
You remember Tech 9?
Oh, I'm quite familiar with Tech 9.
Yeah, he's good.
Yes.
Out of her shell and raise hell. Don't stop till the cops come.
Podcast services.
Just stop this. Just pause this and go listen to Tech 9.
What are we even doing here? You know? I don't know. This is going to be a good show, though, Greg. I feel it. Is this one going to be worth $1?
You're asking me?
I just burped. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I always think it is. I was shocked the other day when you're like, oh, no, it's worth $1.
There are times when I don't think that it's going to be worth $1.
But when's the last time we did a show that wasn't worth $1 is what I'm saying, though?
I don't know that we have.
I was going to say, that's the thing.
But I'm saying, I try to be real about my expectations and not hype myself up too much. That sounds like Tim Gettys, right?
Yeah, that sounds just like Tim Gettys.
Speaking of hype, today what we're doing is, oh my God. Yeah, Greg's hyped. We're doing something a little bit different instead of doing the normal Gamescast rigmarole. This whole episode is just going to be looking forward to 2018, since this is the first episode of Gamescast in 2018. What I want to do is go through all of the key stakeholders in video games, whether it's Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, all the third parties, all that stuff going on. Answer the big questions, the small questions. I got all the dates for games that, you know, I think that we should talk about.
That have been confirmed for 2018.
Confirmed for 2018 with either a actual release date or just a 2018 kind of tagline or something. There's some games I just want to talk to you about. There's some fun shit going on.
I just want to talk about some games.
I just want to talk. Just want to talk.
It's
but
nice
I'm pretty
to talk
excited
about
it.
games.
Before we get into all this, I want to start off with the key events for the year. So when we're thinking about announcements that might be made, when we're thinking about all this stuff, it's the same power players, but I feel like last year really cemented where game announcements are made.
Okay.
And that is Nintendo Directs.
Sure.
That is E3.
Duh.
Paris Games Week.
Sure.
Gamescom. PSX.
Okay.
Now, in addition to that, of course, there's just the random press release. There's the random thing that just comes out. But those are kind of the big events. And Nintendo Directs
the tent poles,
do have the tent poles. Nintendo Directs happen throughout the year. But the rumor is there's going to be a big one in January. That rumor coming from just kind of common sense.
I was going to say common sense, and then that EA leak thing,
the
maybe.
EA leak thing that I totally believe.
You do believe it.
I do believe it.
Do you believe it?
Yes.
That's a colloquialism for where I'm from, where if you're so confident in something, you say I do believe
Making that up?
100%.
Okay. I don't know, man.
I'm just
fucking weird.
Everything's misfiring if you haven't noticed.
It's all good. It's all good. But I do believe in the EA leak, and in addition to that, it just kind of lines up with what Nintendo has done in previous years. Even in the weaker years of the Wii U, they still had either a late December or January Direct to kind of talk about what's going on in the spring on the 3DS and in the Wii U. And for here, it's like Switch. We've now that Champions Ballot is out, we've hit that wall where we don't have any concrete information really on the Switch. We know.
What about Yoshi and Kirby?
There's a couple 2018 games coming that we'll get to, but I'm saying there's no dates. There's no.
Gotcha.
Here's the next thing to look forward to.
Oh boy,
we've had 2017 this whole time to look. Every month we knew what was coming, or if nothing was coming. So I do think that the January Direct is real and it's going to happen. But before we get into that, I want to talk about the hardware. What hardware is going to happen?
Oh, so you put the roadmap at the top.
The roadmap, some big stuff. I want to answer the big questions before we get more into the more granular stuff.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So I want to start off with the hardware.
Sure.
Let's
get the jacket off. Get real about it. You know what I mean?
I'm going to kick this one off to you. A couple weeks ago, as of recording this, some Sony dude was talking about like, oh, we need to look at the Switch and take it seriously.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Does that mean a PlayStation Vita 2?
No, under no
circumstances.
no circumstances. That mean a PlayStation Vita 2. I mean, definitely not in 2018.
But I mean, here's the thing. What I want to talk about is not necessarily is it going to come out. Even announcements.
No.
What are we going to hear about any of these things? Do we get a trailer? Do we get a release date? Do we get the game? All this stuff.
Sure.
So PlayStation Vita 2, not a chance in hell.
Not a chance in hell. Because
mentioned.
I remember seeing that headline and reading a little bit of the news story, and yeah, you're right. It was that the success of the Switch can't be ignored. I think it was more a thing that we can't just dismiss Nintendo, that we're only looking at Xbox, we're only looking at PC. I think it's the fact that you have to commend Nintendo on the year they had in 2017 as PlayStation and understand why they did that and analyze it and look into it and look at how they succeeded. I don't even want to say where they succeeded and Vita failed. The Nintendo Switch succeeded for a simple reason. It's because it's great hardware, it's a cool gimmick, and it's got great games. The Nintendo Switch will continue to succeed because it will never have the problem Vita had in terms of, cool, that's a great thing, but there's this higher end piece of tech we should be making games for and focusing on that we have to worry about. The PlayStation 4 is coming up in this example. Switch is the Switch, and it is the Nintendo for the next few years, meaning that you have to work for it, you have to do stuff for it, you have to make games for it. The message there, under no circumstance, is, oh man, the handheld market is alive and well. The handheld market is not alive and well, period. End of statement. Mobile is a different beast. The Switch is a different beast. There is a line in the sand when you talk to consumers versus games press people of how they actually use the Switch. For most people, regular consumers, the Switch is used as a console on their TV. And then it's a novelty to pop it off while your significant other watches TV or while you go on vacation. Normal people don't travel like we travel, where we are on the road so much that my Switch is a handheld. Mm-hmm. And for me, it's the opposite. It's novel to plug it in and have a game that I want to play on the TV, including Mario.
Which, by the way, I played Mario Odyssey, I would say 90-something% handheld. Yeah. And over the last weekend, I popped it in on my TV just because I was like, fuck it, I have a 65-inch TV, why not? And I'm like, oh, it is a different experience.
Yeah.
And in a good way. And I don't necessarily think one's better than the other.
Sure.
Because having a game of Mario Odyssey's caliber portable is amazing.
Right.
But yeah, it's just, it makes everything feel a lot less claustrophobic. And I was telling Kevin, like those really tense moments where you're like kind of scared about missing a jump or whatever, there's a lot more confidence instilled in me when I was playing on the bigger screen. I think it is just because
there's more real estate. You can see things. You're in the experience more than holding like this. Yeah, 100%. I'm right there with you. And I think the majority of time I've played it on handheld and been fine with it. And then there's been the days where I'll come home and pop it in and play for some reason. The moral of the story of Switch is not that, oh man, we need to make a Vita 2. And it's, I was talking to, I think, somebody on Kind of Funny Games Daily recently about the fact of like, does this send a message that PlayStation 5 needs to be, a plug and play system that it can be taken? No, it doesn't need to be a hybrid system at all. It's a cool idea. I'm sure at some point they're going to tinker with it and look at it, but that's not the direction PlayStation's gone, and it's not the direction PlayStation's gone and been incredibly successful with. Like yes, the Switch is the most sought after toy. It's been killing it on NPD. It's sold 10 million units in a year, which is fucking awesome, and congratulations, and they deserve it. But that with PlayStation crossing the 70 million threshold in a console generation where we were all like, this will be the last console generation. Man, things aren't looking up for consoles. The message to them is not, hey, let's go do that. If anything, what I took away from PSX most recently was the fact that VR isn't dead. And that for the first time, I think since launch or lead up to launch, I'm really excited about PlayStation VR. And there's a lot of experiences we talked about and got shown at PSX that I'm excited to play in VR. And it's like, that's more interesting. And again, while VR isn't seeing PlayStation 4 success, isn't seeing Nintendo Switch success, 2 million units moved, right, in a little over a year for that on the market, I think is bolstering Sony's confidence in it. And the press coming out of the things we saw at PSX, I think is bolstering their confidence in it. And maybe it's not that the success of the Switch can't be ignored, which, A to B means that we're going to get C of Vita. Maybe it's PlayStation saying that there still is room for weird gimmicks and weird ideas in there, and that, VR didn't set the world on fire the way we expected it to. It did better than we expected it to. It's this weird game of, well, what did they expect? What did they want? And where do they go? And what do they read from that? But long story short, to your very simple question, no, I don't think the Vita 2 is a reality. I definitely, and I'm Greg Miller. I've covered PlayStation a long time. I've heard rumors of people tinkering with, and this is what they saw. And in terms of tech, things that we're being working on behind closed doors, what you'd expect. Guess what? Right now they're working on PlayStation 5 as well.
Yeah, R&D's on everything.
Always moving, and I'm sure that they've done it. I'm sure they have a team investigating what a PlayStation 5 that was a hybrid looks like. I don't think you'll ever see it.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll ever see a Vita 2, and I don't think you need to. I think PlayStation has a great thing going right now, and I don't think they want to fuck it up. And I think that I'd like to imagine they've learned from previous experiences of not spreading themselves too thin and doing too much weird shit.
So having VR, do you think that we see a revision to the PSVR hardware in 2018?
So beyond the one that they already are, is that out yet? I don't think it's out yet. The Wave 2, whatever.
I'm not sure.
I used it for the first time at PSX this year, and like I still had different headphones on it, and it was the weird thing of, wait, where am I using a V2? And they're like, oh yeah, the button's up here now to push it in. And I'm like, oh okay, cool, and did it.
I'm more talking about like an actual PSVR 2.
I think, again, totally in the works. A PlayStation VR 2 here. Hey, everybody says our screen door effect sucks and the screen isn't great. I think that's being worked on. I think we will see that. I do not think we see it in 2018. I don't think we get it hinted at in 2018. I think 2018 is, no, we're committed to this and we're putting out cool experiences and you're getting Fire. What the fuck is that game's name? Wall? Yep. No, it's not Firewall, is it? Sorry, Kevin, I always kick it to you. You do a great job reminding me. But the fucking Rainbow Six game, me and Andy played and loved. That Sid Schumann loves. I think you see more titles like that. Moss, Impatient. Here are these games that are actually cool, that are actual games that you're actually excited at. Firewall, you're right, Kevin, I love you. Firewall, 0 Hour. Things that come around and actually establish, yes, this is awesome. Yes, you should buy it. Thank you, early adopters who have it and have been happy just sitting there and trying experiences. We're on the move to something. And then I would say, 2019, PSX, hey, we've moved X number of PlayStation VRs. You've seen these awesome games. We now have partners on board that I think it's exciting when you talk about Take-Two today, as we record this, announcing the small privacy label, whatever. You see this today? I talked about it in Games Daily. Basically, AA developers that are putting money behind letting them own the IP.
Cool.
I think bringing back a AA space suddenly really opens the window to, we wanted to do a VR game. We need a little bit of money. We teamed up with somebody like Take-Two, and this is what we've got out there. And the success, what our numbers for success are lower. And I think in the 2019, you're able to say all that at VR and then say, here is the next wave of PlayStation VR. It's going to be this. It's going to look like this. It is a better screen. It is a premium price point. We're getting into a PlayStation 4 Pro scenario.
Yeah.
But again, 2019, where are we actually getting a PlayStation 5 or what happens after PlayStation?
Yeah. PlayStation 5. Do we hear anything? Not obviously not get it. Do we hear anything in 2018? I don't think so.
No. I think if anything, being aggressive in 2019, you hear something about PlayStation VR or a PlayStation 5 and then see it in 2020. But even then, I really think all of this is business driven. And there's the development side of like what developers need, what people. It doesn't seem like people are hurting right now getting the power out of the PlayStation, the Xbox. So I don't think there's motivation there. With PlayStation, more than 70 million units sold right now. There clearly isn't a drop off in demand for this console. So why get in there and muck this up? Why get in the way of yourself? We thought PlayStation 4 Pro was going to be, an unforced error, as Colin used to always say. When in reality, what it was is, my PlayStation's starting to make noise, so I'm just going to buy this thing now. Yeah. I'll spend more money and get out there and pay you more money than I would have paid for the slimmer version. Where you put that out, when you start addressing next gen, I don't know. And I really think Xbox is going to be the first person to push it if Xbox is still committed to trying to be number one in the console race, which I'm not sure they are anymore. Yeah. When it is the Xbox One X, it's a great message of, no, generations are dead, which they've not walked back even. But like when we had the marketing guy on Gamescast. No, not Aaron. Kevin, it was when everybody's gone. I did a one-on-one show with him. Really nice gentleman. Find his name for me, Kev. I love you. Anyways, he was great, and he didn't walk it back, but it was very much like, well, that's been the message is run away. There still are going to be console generations, but it is an amazing message right now. You don't need that, and that's not what's happening, and that's exciting, and I love being embedded with both these consoles. And all right, cool, we're going to pay it forward to the people who have put the money in. I feel like it's a bad move for Xbox to start talking about it at all with Xbox One X and how much they've touted that it's the world's most powerful console. You need to keep doing that. You need to keep pushing people. I think you need to win back trust. And Albert Pinello, thank you so much. I don't think you hear about next gen PlayStation 5 or Xbox 2 at all next year. I don't even think you get the rumors of they're shopping around to developers behind closed doors. I think everything's going so well right now. It would have to be that we get through the next 2 business quarters, right? Even on the other side of Christmas. And it's like, oh, whoa, things have drastically slowed down and Switch keeps running away. That maybe that's when you're like, all right, well, how do we best any of that? How do we get people excited? But people are excited right now.
I agree with you on the PlayStation side. I don't think there's any chance we hear about the PS5 in 2018. I do think the Xbox 2, whatever it's going to be called, there is a chance. And I think a lot of that, but it wouldn't be at E3. It'd be later in the year to even start hearing rumblings of something happening. And I think that a lot of that has to do with what Microsoft does from a first-party standpoint and what it announces at E3.
And I hear you, because this is what we always talk about. Where are the exclusives? What do they want? But at some point, they must have said, we're not moving Xbox Ones. Let's back it off and start saving these or build these things up for Xbox 2.
Yeah.
But the problem is just, I feel like you just they would hang themselves out to dry on this, of just being like, there's rumblings, and it would be a year later, because that's what they did so great with Xbox One S and Xbox One X, of announced at the same E3. Hey, smaller, faster, 4K or whatever the hell, HDR, or whatever the hell the fucking Xbox One S is. I don't even know. Yeah. We're doing this right now, but next year,
4K video.
Thank you. I knew there was something weird with
HDR,
it.
yeah.
But next year, we're doing Xbox One X, which is going to be the world's most popular. So it was very much like, feel free to buy this now if that's where you are. But keep in mind, we're doing this and we're not pulling the rug out from under you and making you feel tricked. And even with PlayStation VR this year, right? There were so many people of like, fucking really? You've redesigned it a little more than a year later to have the HDR pass-through we all wanted? That sucks.
Yeah.
Imagine if you were. It's the most powerful console. Play it backwards and forwards and all this shit. And then next year there were just rumblings even of like, okay, well, I've heard that somebody over here at Ubisoft is tinkering with this new box, so they're making the rounds. And so you imagine that in 2019, early 2019, you're going to get an event reveal of that, or even leading into it'd be just, that's bad mojo. And I don't think Xbox needs that or wants that.
I think that the stories of the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X have just been so exaggerated, and the way that people like us talk about it, the way everyone talks about it, blows that out of proportion of what it actually is. When it really, in reality, goes back to it is just an option for people to buy. Just like there's always been, not always, but there's been precedent in the past of having options, whether it was the Xbox 360 Elite or just random things like that, like
PlayStation 3 launching with 2 SKUs,
with the 60 gigabyte or 20 gigabyte. There's just different options, and I know this is different. The way that the marketing is different. We're in a different time.
Sure,
things are changed. It's not one for one, but I don't think it's the worst decision for them to come out with the next console next year. But also, like, I don't know. I'm not the audience for it as well, so
sure.
I don't know what it would be that gets me excited, but we'll get into the Microsoft section later. But yeah, really talking about like what games are going to be announced in 2018. I think that decides where the next Xbox lands. Next box. Going back to PS5 real quick, just something I thought about. Do you think there's a chance that when PS5 actually does come out, that it's with PSVR in a Kinect style?
No. I still think we're too early in the PlayStation VR lifestyle, and I mean just VR for PlayStation life cycle, where it's affordable, it's mass market, it's because it would be the threat of Kinect. Of cool, we bundled this in. Oh, that's why the box costs so much. You get it home. So, like, what's worked surprisingly well in terms of scuttlebutt, in terms of things we hear as being dialed in PlayStation consumers, or me at least, is the fact that so many people bought this thing and launched. Again, 2 million units in the first year. And you really don't hear that many people saying, I got screwed. This was a waste of money. Blah, blah, blah. They did a great job of messaging this through us and through other people of like, hey, this is really cool tech. And that doesn't equate to really cool games out of the gate, but we're going to get there and we want you to be along for the ride. And you put it in the box for PlayStation 5, and that's you saying, we've got it, we know what we're doing, you're going to get a million great games from it. And when you don't, if the cycle was as it is now, you're going to have people being like, why? Why is this here? I never used this thing. I wish they didn't include it, and it was cheaper, right? It's the same when I look at the Vita, and I'm like, what fucked the Vita? Of like, why the touch screens, and why the back touch, and why all this? Just fucking make great games for it. It should have been a cross-media bar. It should have been the PlayStation 3 interface. Yeah.
Cool. Redesigned Switch. I say no.
I say no.
I say no because I think that 2018 they're going to focus on like more Joy-Cons and more accessories like that.
Yeah.
If Virtual Console happens and all that, I can see it being far along enough of the Switch being successful and people understanding what it is and what the Joy-Cons are, that introducing peripherals and other controllers isn't going to be too confusing. Because I feel like the Wii U did a really bad job of, it also works with all the Wii controllers, and some games use the nunchuck, and some games use the Pro Controller, and some games use this gamepad, and some it's like there was way too much. I think that the Switch, people understand it now. People understand that you can play it in a bunch of different ways, and I feel like adding more ways to that wouldn't be a bad thing. So I don't think we'll get it next year, but I think that the following year we'll get something, whether it's a Switch Mini that is a Switch that you can't take the Joy-Cons off, and it is more Vita-like. Or something more like a Switch XL, where it's an even bigger screen, and maybe even both of those. I feel like the bezel is so big on the current Switch because the Joy-Cons have to be able to disconnect.
But I feel like you couldn't do that. You couldn't put out, at least not this early, right? And especially because it's not a failed piece. People use it and like it. I feel like you can't anchor the Joy-Cons there because there are games, right, that require you to have the Joy-Cons pulled out of them.
But I think at that point, then the idea would be, well, either get more Joy-Cons or you already have more Joy-Cons. Like you got to look at Nintendo's history, especially with portables.
And this is something I'm rusty on.
They've never really cared about that type of stuff, and they have taken away different functionalities, and there's Kevin failing once again at Darker Side of the Moon in Mario Odyssey. They with the DS and the DS Lite, and then the XLs, and they're like, whatever. It hits a point where like, fuck it, options, and not every iteration is gonna give everybody everything. And I think that they kind of understand that. And
I just feel like it's an early.
But I mean,
that's a later game decision
with those things, and like they've just done more and iterated and put out more and special editions. They have something really nice going on right now where the special editions are the Joy-Cons, and they don't need to have a freaking Fire Emblem Switch. It could just be Fire Emblem Joy-Cons, right? But I think that it's going to hit a point where they know that Nintendo's audience will buy multiple Switches, and they'll buy them for different uses because they have in the past. But yeah, I don't think that'll be 2018. I think that is a 2019 situation.
Okay.
No.
It gets interesting too of like if you were to put out a Switch where you can't release the Joy-Cons, it is more like the Vita. If they could figure out, as PlayStation and Xbox have, not transferring of like, because like I have to transfer my whole profile still, right? I can't have a profile on 2 Switches.
So that's the thing, is like a lot of what I'm saying is with the hopes that that's figured out.
If they figure that out, right, it would be an interesting sell to the mass market, which I mean, they do the 2DS, right? Of cool, your Switch at home can be plugged into its cradle the entire time, and this is a smaller Switch you can take with you whenever you want.
And to go back to make one of my points, I mean, a second ago, a bit stronger. Like I don't think that Nintendo's just looking at the Switch as a one per household system like PlayStation 4 or Xbox. They look at it as like, oh no, we want a family to each own their own.
Yeah, you want it. And dad wants one, and mom wants one.
They've talked about this. Reggie just did an interview a couple weeks ago talking about how they're seeing a lot of success of the Switch selling for even just couples.
Yeah,
where people that aren't necessarily into video games are like,
that's what Jen and I did. Yeah,
you need 2.
Yeah,
right. And I think that they know that, and I think that giving options is a good thing, because I am the type of person that I would day one get a bigger one that was like, if it was dedicated on the system with a screen that's bezel-less. But yeah, we'll see.
I guess that's what I struggle with, is the fact that I like my Switch so much that I was like, well, what I mean, I don't need to. And I guess because even when the Vita originally came out, you were like, oh, this is a chunky little guy. Slimmer would be great, you know what I mean? And the original DS versus the DS Lite, you're like, I can see where this would go. But with Switch, I have a hard time looking at where it's like, oh, that's a great upgrade. That's what I want.
I even think back to the PSP. And then when the PSP, like the first one was the 1000, when the 2000 came out, it was like such minimal little things. But I remember being like, I want it.
Yeah.
And if they added a little extra stuff, like the modern version of that in 2017 or 2018, 19 of what the Switch could be,
well, I mean,
and will be at that point.
The real, that's not really a great one, I guess. What would be interesting is if it was cool. The port at the bottom of the Switch now has an HDMI. And you're plugging that into the new dock if you want, or if you're a person on the road, just bring an HDMI.
I think that's another inevitability that they'll have to add that at some point.
You say that, but again, remember this was also the thing we all thought with like Vita or not Vita, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Vita and PSP, where we were like, yeah, eventually they're going to add that in.
I think it's a different time. Like I just think that like we're at a point now where HDMI is, and I know that even with the Vita, it was still a kind of common thing. HDMI now is you have a billion of them around your house just laying around.
Yeah.
But that Nintendo would lose a lot of money on docks, but I also think that they'd make a lot of money selling this.
Yeah, selling an upgraded version. Yeah.
Now I want to ask you, Greg.
Yeah.
For a little section I called the unicorns.
The unicorn.
These are the games that we've heard about a bazillion times. We thought about a bazillion times. And I want to know what is going to happen to them in 2018. Okay. Do they come out?
Sure.
Do we get updates? Where do we hear about them?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Everything.
This is where we could bring in the key events.
Yes.
I see what this is, like a test.
Mm-hmm. Let's start off with Kingdom Hearts 3. The one that I think has the biggest chance of making 2018.
Yeah.
On this list.
Where do they leave that? What's the conversation about that?
At E3, they put out more stuff about it, and we know that there is a pressure from Disney to Square to get it out in 2018.
Okay.
That's
it. That's all we know.
That's kind of it.
Okay.
I think it's possible.
I'm looking on your list without reading the rest and getting ahead. Well, maybe the one. Yeah, I mean, are we bringing them all into the conversation? Can we read off the unicorns?
So yeah, let's read them all off. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Resident Evil 2 Remake. Beyond Good and Evil 2. Shenmue 3. Last of Us Part 2. Death Stranding. Grand Theft Auto 6. And The Avengers.
I feel the three that I think have a shot in hell. Kingdom Hearts. Remake for Final Fantasy VII Remake.
No.
Well, because it's episodic.
Oh, that's a solid point. That is a solid point. The first episode of Final Fantasy VII Remake in 2018. I still don't believe it.
And again, these are a shot in hell. I'm not saying I believe in them.
You're talking about coming out. Do we...
Shenmue 3 is my third one.
Taking it a step back, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Do we even hear about it in 2018?
Yeah.
I feel like we have to.
Yeah.
Because it has been way too long.
Agreed.
So...
I feel like that could easily be another PSX thing.
Because I hear about. I don't think we get it.
No, not yet.
Even episode 1, I don't think we get it in 2018. Kingdom Hearts 3, I think that we'll get in 2018.
Okay.
I know that on the very first episode of Gamescast, we talked about getting it in 2015, and it didn't happen. But I do think we'll get it in 2018. If we don't, we'll get it in March 2019.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Bold statements there.
But I feel like they got to get off the pot with this one. And it's just time for that.
I mean, Shenmue 3, what's the scope of that?
Shenmue 3, I don't fucking know. Like, it's a little bit outside of my jurisdiction. I can talk about Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy because I'm more in on that.
Yeah, the back half of your list is where I actually have things like, I believe in this because of that. And this one's like, these are all weird Japanese games. I don't know what the hell.
Shenmue 3, 2018 seems unlikely, but possible. There has been dev diaries. They have been talking about it. I think that it'll be most telling when we get Shenmue 3 based on when we actually get a Shenmue HD collection.
Yeah, they were doing the remake or whatever.
Rumors.
It's all rumors?
Confirmed.
Okay.
Yeah. So once we get confirmation of when Shenmue HD collection comes out, which
then you'll be prepared to make a...
Then I think that we'll see how close we are to a Shenmue 3. Beyond Good and Evil 2. We just got that weird little update, which is weird. Yeah, it won't be 2018. I actually don't think we'll even see it in 2018 at all. If we do, it'll be at Ubisoft's E3 conference.
Yeah, it'll be another closer of like, here's a little
by the way, hey, we're still working on this.
Yeah. 100% agree with you on that.
Last of Us Part 2.
No.
Do we get what do we get? Because I think we get gameplay at E3.
It's not that it's possible, but if it did, I just feel like that would be real smoke and mirrors. Hey, we've all been only working on this. And the Naughty Dog doesn't strike me as that's how they roll for their demos. Granted, hey, we pulled this bit out and polished it and made it the vertical slice everybody wants and blah, blah, blah. But I still feel like, I don't even know, I think they're not that far along in the entire thing.
Yeah.
Is where I think this game's at.
My thing is, and I'm pulling this out of my ass.
Pull it out of your ass.
But I believe that Last of Us Part 2 will be released in June. Not 2018.
Okay.
In June.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Last of Us 1 was.
Yeah.
June is a good time that we've seen for these big games like that actually do sell very well. Based on that, gameplay this E3, it releases the next June. That doesn't sound crazy to me. June 2019 release for Last of Us. Is that nuts? I don't think it'll be later than that. I don't think it'll be earlier than that.
The problem is, well, we're always just talking about unknown quantities of what's going on behind the scenes. And that's where it gets so difficult it's not crazy, but it's also, I don't know. You know, I don't.
We can guarantee it's not 2018.
Yeah, no way.
So,
and the fact that I'm so rock solid on that belief makes me doubt where in 2019 it would fall. And I also don't think it's beyond the realm of possibility for it to be a fall release for them, to move it out of June. I think June was a great time for, hey, yeah, it's Naughty Dog and everybody loves them, and hey, but it's a new IP nobody knows them for yet. Everybody knows the fucking Last of Us now. I think you can get away and say that's your tentpole thing and put it out.
Where was Last of Us Part 2 revealed?
PSX, what year's that? So 2015? Is that right? No.
Was it?
I'm so bad at dates. You know that. I'm Googling.
Well, it would be 2016, right? Because this is 2017.
Well, that's what I'm saying is the fact that I think it was the Last of Us part. Maybe it was.
Oh, and yeah, and then we just got the second trailer at Paris Games Week.
Last of Us. I hate how hard it is to find any information on the internet like this.
That seems right. I mean, you could just look, if you looked up Last of Us trailer, you can see what the date was.
Well, you know what? You can suck it. How about that? Is that what you want to suck it?
I will freaking suck it. I mean,
2016.
Yeah, 2016.
PlayStation Experience 2016. It feels so much longer than that.
This game's coming out
because we're talking about this game for
June
fucking
2019. Ever. I'm writing it down. I haven't wrote anything down. Where is it? June 2019. Now, Death Stranding, Greg.
You can keep talking. I want to. I'm sick of talking about fucking when these goddamn games are coming out.
We're not getting Death Stranding in 2018. No. Duh. We will get gameplay in 2018 of Death Stranding.
Okay.
To me, the question is, do we see it at E3 or do we see it at Game Awards or PSX?
Well, this gets hazy for me because I was backstage and there was really shitty speakers back there. But somebody told me after the fact, when I moved to Gorilla Position to do my interviews with Sean and Shu at PSX, that during Mark Cerny's conversation with Hideo,
he's played 4 to 5 hours.
He's played 4 to 5 hours of it, right? And that's the question of, could you? When do you think the game's coming out?
Jokes aside, early 2020.
Yeah. So I could see you do some gameplay there if it's that far along. But again, it's always that thing where even when I was talking to Shu about playing Sucker Punch's game, like he played it forever ago, or at least an iteration of it, or an iteration of something they were working on. Like, what exactly did Mark Cerny play?
Yeah.
What was actually feature complete on that? Was it just running around Maya levels and understanding how systems work and how enemies interact? That seems more realistic than playing a vertical slice of some kind that's something you're all about, that you're into.
So what do you think we get from Death Stranding in 2018? Do we get anything at E3?
I mean, apparently, every big fucking show, there's goddamn Death Stranding crap at. And I love Death Stranding.
I mean, that's not true. We haven't seen Death Stranding that much. We haven't.
Don't take this narrative.
It's true.
We've seen too much already. Just stop.
We've seen it at Game Awards, we've seen it at E3, and we've seen it at Game Awards again.
PSX had more, not this PSX, but last PSX didn't have a segment on there too?
No.
No? It's all blur at this point.
There's been 3 trailers.
Okay.
It's only been shown 3 times.
Okay.
He's talked. They've done panels.
They've talked a lot. Yeah, they've talked a lot about this.
That's different. That's not a showing. That's talking.
Sure. Yeah, I guess gameplay isn't out of the question, especially when you think about how early we saw Metal Gear 5 gameplay, Ground Zero's gameplay before we actually played the final game or anything like that. Like that whole
That's
kept
true.
you waiting, huh? Like that we'd seen.
We have to see gameplay. E3.
Okay. You sold me on that one. You sold me on that one.
Gameplay.
You're saying June 2018 for Last of Us, though?
June 2019.
2019 for Last of Us.
For Last of Us. Death Stranding early 2020 with gameplay at 2018's E3. GTA 6.
No, don't move on. Why? No.
When do we see it? When does it happen?
I mean, Red Dead's not even out yet.
Yeah, I know.
They're going to give Red Dead a huge tail.
So, but when do we see GTA 6? When do we first hear about it?
We'll hear about it like somebody leaked a map, or hear about it like Rockstar actually wants to tell us about
saying
it.
that GTA 6 is real.
Kevin, can you just grab me my computer? I'm trying to do math and all this shit on this phone, and it's not going to happen for me. Well, I mean, how long ago did GTA 5 come out?
GTA 5 is 2013?
And so next year, 2018, we're finally getting Red Dead. Now, granted, so that's 5 years right there.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, GTA 5 Online has been a cash cow and kept them going and not made them have to worry about doing new stuff. But even that said, I want to, before I even weigh in on that, I want to know Red Dead, I want to know GTA 4. See, this is what we're doing. We're doing it all live rather than having to do it live, damn it. Thank you very much. I can't just come off the top of my head. You know how I am? I don't know if you can. All right, so GTA release date. All right, so GTA 4 comes out in 08.
Mm-hmm.
No, I fucking hate the internet. All right, so then Red Dead comes out in 2010. That's a 2-year gap between GTA 4 and GTA. Then you figure a 3-year gap between so there's a 3-year gap between Red Dead and GTA 5. Then a 5-year gap between Red Dead and GTA 5 and Red Dead.
With the difference being GTA 5 being ported to the next gen consoles
That's a good point
with
too.
online and all that stuff.
Right. But keep in mind, these games keep getting bigger and keep getting more intense and keep doing that.
I mean, so let's dial the question back. Will there be a GTA 6?
100%.
Yes, there will.
At this point, though, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't, if I'm Rockstar, I wouldn't be surprised if I was waiting just for, well, you know what, I say that, and then look at how they just did with the PS3 or PS4.
Yeah, that's the thing is there hasn't been a this generation exclusive. Well, exclusive isn't the right word to use. Debuting Grand Theft Auto game, right?
Yeah.
There would need to be. You'd think.
Do we? Are we? Yeah, you'd think that. It sounds weird, but like, is there gonna be a Smash on Switch?
Yeah.
A new Smash? Is there gonna be a new Mario Kart on Switch? Like an exclusive Mario Kart on Switch?
There will be.
Yeah.
Yes, undeniably. Like the thing is, especially with the Switch taking on the 3DS eventually, and Wii U's libraries in terms of console and portable, definitely we'll see those things eventually. But with GTA, I just feel like they need to put it. They don't need to, but they'd be crazy when the PlayStation 4 sold 70 million units to not put another game out.
I agree, but it's the same thing as always. Why get in the way of a good thing? I think Red Dead Red Dead's success will dictate what happens to the GTA 6. If Red Dead comes out and also is off to the races, everybody's playing Red Dead online, they're microtransaction, they got their crews, they're doing all these different things, they're having a great time, and meanwhile GTA Online's still doing well or just doing well enough, there's no hurry to get to GTA 6. If Red Dead comes out and the online doesn't take off and that still impacts GTA 5 or GTA Online, you need to get to GTA 6 quicker. But I think I mean, even if you're putting 2 or 3 years between Red Dead and GTA 6, 2020 still sounds too early.
2020 sounds right to me.
Yeah?
GTA 6, 2020. That's what I'm thinking. Death Stranding and GTA 6 in 2020. It's going to be a great year. What do you think GTA 6 is? I saw a dope-ass GIF recently.
Yeah.
Where it said GTA and then Roman numerals, so the V and the I, and then a CE came in after it. I'm like, that's fucking hot.
Collector's edition?
No, just it being in Vice City.
I know, I was joking.
That'd be fucking amazing.
That'd be amazing. Yeah,
I
I'd love
see
that.
them doing that. That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
And I think that would beat GTA 5 sales.
Oh, sure. And well, I mean, the next GTA will do
Whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. You can put whatever you want on that.
I think Vice gives it an even bigger bump
Sure.
compared to like GTA London or some shit.
Yeah, but I mean, at some point, Rockstar just gets more and more ambitious with GTA. And now that they're experimenting with characters, right? Are we beyond the realm of thinking of it's GTA 6 and it's just GTA World and it is this thing, especially when it's heist, when it is co-op, when it is like it is.
You're right.
Where
like,
imagine if Rockstar found success with doing what they've done with GTA 5 and GTA Online. They know people want to play stuff. They know they like heists. They know they like complicated stuff. The next is, and as great as like, and I love GTA 5, as you know, and had a great time with it. The heists were fun, but they were small jobs. Like the next evolution of that is, hey, it's time to take down. It's not even, that was Ocean's 11, right? Now it's Fast and the Furious, where we have to globe trot and do all this different stuff, and we're getting the team together. And it is maybe that, it is Tommy or whatever, Vicente, and he is in Vice City, and he knows he's got to do this, and he travels to Moscow, travels to this. Keep in mind that Rockstar's whole thing, right, is a commentary on social commentary on what's happening, right? What's happening right now? When GTA 5 dropped, it was very much the tech bubble, marijuana, luxury, the haves and the have-nots, right, of the American dream. Think about what's happening in the world right now, right? It is racism, and it is our country divided in America. It is Brexit. It is this being reflected all over the place. I guarantee they want to sink their teeth into that, and they want to.
That's a really good
point out how fucked up everything is right now and where we are.
What's crazy to me is I remember vividly being on GameFAQs and reading about Grand Theft Auto, and when 3 came out, and then Vice City, and then San Andreas, and like during that time, then eventually when we got 4, reading about like, oh man, how crazy would it be when this can be multiplayer? How crazy would it be when this is online? We can all play together and do this. It's like we're there.
Yeah.
And like it's kind of nuts to think about. It's like that dream actually happened. So yeah, what you're talking about it, how crazy I feel it would be for them to be like, fuck it, it is GTA World. And it is this actual living thing where you can go from Liberty City to San Andreas.
Yeah.
It sounds crazy to me, but you're right. Like in 10 years, will it be crazy or will it just be reality?
And you figure it's a natural progression in terms of what online would become. Of okay, we know you love having a million houses in San Andreas. What if you have your London home, your Paris home, this thing? There's missions that you have to go do there to then go over there. And now it becomes like the nightly thing of today's the bonus of doing the Paris mission. Tomorrow it's the go do the London mission. You jump around to build up, you play throughout, and everybody on your thing has to piece together these parts or do them in one giant set to get to the big final. Here it is. This is what this heist is all about. That's bigger than the heists you've seen before.
I'm into it.
So here you go. As I always, at one point, we're going to be in a studio big enough. And what we need to do is just have an information wall of the same fucking questions I fuck up all the time. The answers, I should say. So we've gone through GTA. You've talked about, or I talked about it, right? GTA 4 08, Red Dead 10, 2 years. Red Dead 10, GTA 5, 13, so 3 years. GTA 5, 2013, Red Dead 2, 2018, 5 years. I mean, you're saying now 2 years to get to GTA 6 in 2020. That sounds way too quick. I think they let that burn 3 to 4 years.
So, sorry, just be clear. I'm not saying necessarily comes out in 2020.
It's saying that's
it's announced in 2020. And I can see it being announced late in 2020 and then coming out early 2021. First half, maybe not early. First half 2021.
I can see being announced in 2020. Said it's going to come in the first half of 2021. Delayed to the fall of 2021. Maybe even make it to 2022. And that's fucking crazy to talk about video games for 2022. But I still feel like that's how far out we are. But yeah, I really think it all depends on what Red Dead does. If Red Dead and Red Dead Online is another GTA Online, no. I think they're going to let it cook for a long time, and I don't think you hear about it in 2020. Back to Last of Us Part 2. Uncharted 1, 2007. Uncharted 2, 2009. Uncharted 3, 2011. Last of Us, 2013. That's where they split into two teams, though. We knew that. Uncharted 4, 2016. Lost Legacy, of course, 2017, but that's the Uncharted team. I still feel this was the opposite, where they've downplayed the two teams for Last of Us Part 2 and Uncharted 4, where it feels like Uncharted 4 ships in 2016. That team transitions over to really help with Last of Us 2, while Kurt and Josh and a small team stay behind to work on Lost Legacy. And now even those people are over there working on The Last of Us Part 2. And it's the same thing where I feel those are such big games. You finally have people really working on it in 2016. And I think beyond just the cinematic of Ashley and Troy, you know what I mean? Or Ashley playing the guitar for the reveal. You're saying what you're saying, we get it in 2019? You're saying June 2019 is when we get Last of Us?
Is when we get Last of Us Part 2.
I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility, but I'm going to say 2020 for that.
All right. Now the final unicorn.
Yeah.
The Avengers.
Okay. And this is when we're going to hear about it?
Mm-hmm. And then get it. Because I say E3 2018, it's blown out.
Blown out. Not a chance in hell. I do not think that's going to be blown out at E3. Another trailer reminds you it's real. Maybe reveal a few characters and stuff, and then have a beat of like, here's what the game is.
Yeah.
Here's who you will be playing as and how it's been going. But I don't see that being a thing.
I think we get a trailer with a date at E3.
With a date
frame. Even if it says 2019, like I think we'll get that.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you get man, I don't know. I'm keeping in mind how we just don't get dates about anything anymore.
That's true from Sony's stage.
Yeah.
Not necessarily from everyone else's.
Where do you think this one will show up? Xbox or Sony?
I don't know. I feel like Xbox. I feel like it needs it.
Yeah. I think it does too, but
yeah, I think Xbox.
Okay.
All right, now let's get into the big three themselves. The release dates we know in 2018, games we know are coming in 2018, and then other things that we just have questions about. January 16th, we got Street Fighter V Arcade Edition. So we're starting with Sony, PlayStation 4. So yeah, cool, great. People are excited about that are into it. Sounds like they're adding a lot of things that people have been looking for. A lot of the old characters, like classics that people wanted back are finally coming back. So that's great.
This is like 19th, the version everybody's wanted.
Yep.
Right, that they've been bummed out about not having.
And it's free for everyone that already has it.
Okay.
January 19th, Digimon Stories Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory comes out on PS4. And Greg, PlayStation Vita.
Yay!
Those games everyone loves. I enjoyed the prequel to this quite a bit, like 2 years ago. And they do really well. So get excited for that. January 23rd, The Inpatient on PSVR.
Hell yeah.
I didn't realize it was that close.
Well, remember, it's been kicked a couple times. It was supposed to have been November, which we were like, that's a weird release date. And then I thought it got kicked to December, and then I think it got kicked to this date. But I might be adding this.
It's one of those things, right? It just totally been out of my mind.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, oh shit, it's coming. Cool.
Yeah. No, and it's from what I've played, it seems cool. It's more Supermassive. The guys who did Until Dawn. This is of course a light prequel to it. It's more about the insane asylum than anything that's going on up there with the kids. But it's creepy. I want to play it. It's one of the games that has me going, oh man, PlayStation VR is moving again. And not that it wasn't moving before, but it has more substantial legs. It has substantial games coming that I feel like the experiences we've had of throwing paper or even Farpoint, we haven't really seen something that's exciting. And this is exciting.
January 30th, we got Dissidia Final Fantasy NT on PlayStation 4.
You can't wait, right?
I just don't get it, man. Like the city is such a cool concept. Get all the Final Fantasy heroes and villains together and put them in a fighting game.
Yeah.
I should be all over it. I know people love it. I know people loved the PSP games. I didn't. I enjoyed the story mode of it, but I didn't really like the gameplay, and I definitely didn't feel it was at home on the PSP. From all accounts, this one is very different gameplay style than those. It started off as an arcade game. I got to play a little bit at GameStop Expo, and I was very confused and had no idea what was going on. Then the HUD was just super overly complicated. I know that they've got that feedback and have been trying to dial it back. I still don't think it's going to end up being something for me, but it's coming out. February 6th, we got Shadow of the Colossus on PlayStation 4.
Hell yeah.
Quite excited about that. I'm
looking forward to it.
Like, fix my issues.
Exactly. My turnoff with Shadow is always the controls, and I just hated how it felt. And they've redone them here, and I was talking to Sid about it on the blogcast at PSX, and he's like, it still keeps the challenge. It's making you work for it, but it's just the simple stuff. I haven't played it now to this point, but I believe you saying stuff like, triangle is no longer jump, like X is jump, like the natural things that should be there while I'm trying to figure out how to climb this monstrosity.
Yeah, I mean, Shadow of the Colossus is one of my favorite games of all time, and when they first announced it at E3, it blew my mind. I was very surprised that they would do this, and the closer we get to it, now that it's so close, I'm like, I don't know that I even need this. Like, I'm kind of worried that it's going to ruin my memory of a game that's so amazing, but it's like maybe that memory just should be a memory, but I don't know. We'll see. I actually want to see what Marty has to say about this game. If Marty's all over
it,
then I'm like, all right, I need to get in on this because I trust him with this type of shit.
Of course.
March 20th, Yakuza 6 on PlayStation 4. March 23rd, Ni no Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdom.
Another one that got kicked back.
On PS4, yeah, it got delayed a week recently.
I think that's a bad date for it. I think it slipped too far.
March 23rd?
Yeah. I think that. And I mean, even when it was just in March, I was
January would have been a good time.
January would have been perfect, dude. We're coming out of that thing. We need a game to be excited for. Hey, here's this meaty JRPG to get into. Awesome. March, you assume God of War is hitting. You assume a million other games as you can page through this are going to be hitting. It's just like, that's such a hectic time of year to put it out there. I really feel like this could have been a giant step for that franchise.
Yeah. Interesting. March 27th, MLB The Show 18 coming to PlayStation 4. And man, it's cool to see Sony have like these dates that are already there for franchises. None of these are like huge necessarily, but they're huge in different niches, right?
Yeah.
And we saw that last year with them doing that as well, with like some of the like smaller titles in terms of what they're doing, but with things like Nier or Neo and stuff like that in the early side of the year. Then things that we don't have dates for, but we know are coming in 2018. Concrete Genie on PlayStation 4. What's your read on that now?
Concrete Genie's super cool. It's another one where I don't know if 2018's really going to happen. Because like I did the stage demo with them, and like I forget if I think I asked on the stage when it's coming, and they were just like, when it's done kind of thing. They don't want to rush that one and make it too good. I think it's beautiful. I love the art style. I love the idea. I am ready for that. Like they were talking about on stage at PSX with me. There's another beat in this year where we're going to actually show you more of the gameplay of what you're doing. Because right now, painting is cool, bring the paintings to life, cool. Is that all it is? And like, no, there's actually like platforming and like action happening. I don't know if they said platform, but there's an action to the game outside of just putting things on the wall.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, okay.
Days Gone, PlayStation 4. So as we go here, this is where we get into the typical same conversation we've been into a million times. Can you read these off? I'm going to go pee.
Oh, sure. So here we go. The typical, hey, this is maybe coming in 2018. Maybe it's not coming in 2018. We got Days Gone on PlayStation 4. Detroit Become Human on PlayStation 4. Dreams on PlayStation 4. God of War on PlayStation 4. And Spider-Man on PlayStation 4. Hey, for shits and giggles, let's toss Medieval Remastered in there on PlayStation 4.
Hey, what's up? I'm Tim Gettys. Final Fantasy.
It's good. That was
What
good.
did he say?
You nailed it. You knocked it out of the park on that one, Andy.
LaCroix. I'm drinking a lot of LaCroix. Fucking.
Sounds like you bit your tongue, you know?
That's how he sounds.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Does it?
Didn't somebody in our subreddit say like, Tim Gettys sounds like he has his mouth full of marbles, and somebody replied, "You could have just said he sounds muffled. Like, you didn't have to like fucking insult him." And
Yeah,
shit.
well, that's
What are we talking about?
He went to the bathroom. I read through the other games that in the normal conversation of where are these things going to come this year, 2018 for PlayStation. We're through Concrete Genie. We're talking about Days Gone, Detroit Become Human, Dreams, God of War, Spider-Man, Medieval Remastered.
I will play all of those except for Medieval Remastered.
Really?
What? Medieval's so good.
Never gave a shit about it. Was never. Yeah, it was like I played the demo of it. It was on a demo disc along
I
with
played that demo so many times.
right with Parappa the Rapper and Tony Hawk.
I hated Forever.
It sucked. I just like it's whatever.
I never was a fan.
I have no like
It's
ties
like me
to
with
it.
Crash, where I didn't.
It's me with Sonic. Everybody's all up in arms about Sonic Bandy this year, and I never had that childhood connection to it.
Sure.
And I didn't give a shit about it.
You're an asshole.
It sucks.
He made fun of you real hard while you're gone.
Well, he's an asshole.
So, I mean, Medieval Remastered is not coming out this year.
Medieval Remastered is entirely coming out this year.
Okay.
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot did. Took a year. 2018.
Oh, okay. The next
Crash Bandicoot was announced at E3, was released June the next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean,
They've already remade that game.
it's true.
Crash is 3
True.
games. This is 1 game.
I'm listening. I'm thinking.
At least I think it is. It's not the collection.
It's just
right?
they had. It just seemed like something they threw together because they signed the deal right before.
Crash Bandicoot literally just had Sean Layden say, "It's happening."
Yeah.
We get it.
That's such a beginning of that's a January game. Like that's the perfect January game of just like, hey, you're back from the holidays. Let's get you something cool. There you go.
December.
I like how you're writing this shit down like we're gonna remember.
No,
it.
I'm
It's
really
carrying
so
stuff.
when I'm looking for to like think about it. December 2018,
No way.
Medieval Remastered.
2019 Medieval
PlayStation 4.
Remastered. Get hype. Gatorade.
But okay, so while I was gone,
yeah.
did you discuss this? We got Days Gone, Detroit.
We read them
Dreams.
off as you asked, and then
Got it.
Andy came in and made fun of you, and then we started talking about Medieval.
Perfect.
Days Gone.
Days Gone, Detroit, Dreams, God of War, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that I think that we need to play around with.
God of War March.
Yes.
Done.
Spider-Man,
Yeah.
the more I think about, the more I'm like June.
Yeah.
First week of June.
Okay. When is
Or like E3 time, like whenever it's around there.
when is Infinity War?
May 4th.
Because they're gonna want to avoid that.
They're going to want to avoid it. So I'm thinking June.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit, Dreams, Days Gone.
See, I say, here's my thing is we do this all the time. I know. I'm sorry, everybody. I would think Detroit is in that June frame. It doesn't feel like a summer game either, though. But we have so much that we got to start playing around with, right?
I think some of these end up on top of each other.
Well,
I don't think that's the plan,
Yeah.
but I think we're going to get a couple in August.
I'm gonna say I'm getting nuts here. April.
Get nuts.
April for Detroit Become Human.
Oh, okay.
Then I'm saying Spider-Man is the fall release. I think it's the fall.
Spider-Man is June. Spider-Man is June, and it is going to be one of the best-selling PlayStation 4 games instantly.
100%. Yeah.
But like, I think that June release date is going to help that.
Okay. I think it's fall. So it's getting ready for the holiday rush. Probably September. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love it in June. I don't think it's a great thing too. Kids are out of school. Let's give them a Spider-Man game to play through. Dreams, I so want to believe it's this year, and I think but it's hard to believe that it'll be this year. But again, it seemed really far along when we saw it. But I could see that slipping to January 2019. I think you get the beta.
I have no idea on Dreams.
Maybe you get the beta.
I still don't believe it's even a game.
You will believe. You will believe an imp can possess a marionette.
Detroit Become Human, April. Man, that's ballsy.
It's just I feel like that's a spring game, and they've said it's a spring
Oh, wait,
game.
you're right. Hold on. They've said all these are first half, right?
No.
Not all of them. Not Days Gone.
Yeah.
But, and was Detroit not on that list either?
Detroit wasn't on the list. Then David Cage said it was spring. Then they said again during PSX spring. That seemed like that wasn't planned to say spring. But I feel like that's a spring game, just a David Cage game. And granted, probably because I remember playing Heavy Rain, skipping the Super Bowl that year because I was having so much fun with it, which isn't spring, but technically.
Man, you know what? You're making me think you might be right about April.
I feel like we want to avoid graduation in May.
Avoid
I feel
God
like
of
June
War.
isn't. I feel like this isn't going. This is stick with me. Isn't a fun game. This is a cerebral game, and so you want people still wanting to stay in their house and fuck around with it.
All right, fuck it. I'm with you. April. Days
Gone is the one I feel like could.
Days Gone's coming in 2018.
Days Gone's one I could see slip into 2019.
Days Gone's coming in 2018, and I'm going to say August or September. I'm not confident enough to choose one. If I had to, it'd be September.
I need the computer.
What you need to do, Greg? What you looking up?
I want to know when Little Big Planets came out.
Dreams is on a whole other level.
It is. Agreed.
It adds a third dimension.
Do not underestimate the power of PlayStation. 2018, or I'm sorry, number 2 for Little Big Planet was January 2011. Little Big Planet originally was October 21st. Did you know that there was Little Big Planet 3 for PlayStation 4?
On PS4?
Mm-hmm.
I remember the dog. I didn't remember that being PS4.
Me neither. Somebody said that during like a thing, and I Googled it. I was like, fucking shit, that wasn't PlayStation 4.
Wow.
November 18th for that.
Okay.
Fuck. Here's where I'm running into the problem. I guess that's not outrageous. No. Yeah, okay. Here's where I'm going to blow your fucking head.
Blow my fucking head, Greg.
I'm going to say... Shit, fuck. God damn it. I don't think Dreams is... I think it's awesome. I hope this year they sell it really well. I hope they let me come over. I've already said I want to go over there and just do like a week of Let's Plays. Just let me chill out and learn everything and play shit. I think Days Gone and Dreams are 2019 games. Early 2019. I think one pops in January and one pops in March. Now I'm trying to decide which goes where. I feel like I would take Days Gone and put that into... This is just me spitballing now. I would take Days Gone and put it in the January slot in hopes that, like Dying Light, it's a cool action game. It's not the coolest. Nobody knows where... Is it Last of Us? Who the fuck knows what's happening in this middle ground? People actually give it a shot, though, and get in and play it and blah, blah, blah. I put Dreams in March because, as I'm sure, March and spring, that area is going to, as always now, be jam-packed up. February, March, like a Horizon kind of thing. And I think Dreams competes in the way that nothing else will be doing what it's doing. So even if you're up against Resident Evil 8 and you're up against whatever action-adventure game 2, Dreams is on another level of like, you'd pick up the game that's the traditional thing, you know, and then you'd pick up experimental Dreams there, and you don't have to, whereas like Days Gone being in the March, February slot there in spring, I feel like you'd be like, well, I'm already getting an open world action game. Oh, I'm already doing this thing. I don't want to invest in this or take a risk on this. Or I think you get away. That's what Greg says.
That's smart.
Thank you. I mean, Sony never does what I say. And I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about ever.
It gets complicated
Neil
when
Druckmann's
you start
listening to this
looking
laughing
at
at
this.
us saying-
I really think Days Gone's this year.
I think they would be a lot more vocal about it if it was.
I feel like we've heard about it a lot.
You sure have.
I feel like we've heard about Days Gone the way people talk like we've heard about Death Stranding. Like, I feel like we've seen gameplay substantially different.
Yeah, you've seen two different scenes.
Gameplay demos. Like, and that says a lot.
Yeah.
And we've also heard a lot more about it. And it's like, I don't know. I
just find it interesting. You're right.
Finding that Horizon time thing, I can see that working out as well.
Think about it this way,
It can't go past September. It cannot. That game cannot come out in October. It will die.
Yeah, no. It can't compete out there. It can't compete out there with the established AAA. Here's
Call of Duty.
Here's where
and
third party
Battlefield.
rolls in and fights each other. Yeah,
Assassin's Creed.
but it's the argument that, while you're correct, we have seen a lot of Days Gone, 2 substantial demos, right? Think of how little you've seen of Spider-Man, and they're so confident in saying 2018. They shout it from the rooftops.
Yeah.
You've seen 2...
I think Spider-Man's different, though.
Okay.
I think Spider-Man, they are, and this is also me being very optimistic and hopeful that there's a lot more to the game.
Yeah.
I think that they are not showing us a lot on purpose because they're like, we don't want to spoil this. We want this to be a punch in the face moment to people that's like, it's not just another Spider-Man game. I'm shocked that we've only seen Mr. Negative.
Yeah.
And it's been this long.
Well, you'll get more, I'm sure, as we get closer. I mean, I don't know. Days Gone is a wild card. I really don't know what's going on.
And then...
But you got to get... I mean, Days Gone is the same thing we talk about, though. Days Gone getting released. Then you got to put Last of Us 2 years after it.
Mm-hmm. That sounds right.
Mm-hmm. Well, then by your own logic, then, it's got to release this year. It's got to be out before 2018.
I don't think it needs to be 2 years. I think those games are going to be different enough. And if not different enough, they're going to be up the same alley for people.
We'll see.
Right. I'd be down for that type of game once a year. Like, I like those games. I don't feel like there's enough of them. I don't think there needs to be years between them, especially if they're totally different franchises.
Okay. Okay.
Sucker Punch's game, Ghosts of
Tsushima.
When is that? That's 2019.
Yeah, that's what I'd feel for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds right for me.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not worried about that one.
Me neither. Now, getting some just questions.
Sure.
These aren't announced things. These are just things that we need to talk about. Devil May Cry 5.
Interesting
With all
rumors
the
about
leaks,
that.
With everything we're seeing, I think that they're true. E3 2018, we'll see it, and I do think it'll be a PlayStation exclusive.
Really? Mm-hmm. Do you think it releases in 2018 or 2019?
So, Devil May Cry HD Collection, March, and that says something. Why would they do that? Seems kind of random.
The old
Capcom is kind of port happy right now, but that does seem like a really weird choice if there wasn't a plan. And I do think that there's a plan. There's too much leaks for this not to be true. And I think that the Sony partnership could be interesting for them. So I think it happens.
Okay.
Do you think we hear anything about Uncharted in 2018?
God, no.
Me neither.
We won't hear anything about Uncharted until probably PlayStation 5.
Horizon.
And I don't even mean like at the launch of PlayStation 5, but that's possible, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Do you think we hear anything about Horizon in 2018?
No. I think this is their only piece. They said Frozen Wilds is the DLC we're doing. It's out. Enjoy it. Now, I mean, you'll hear about E3, like the numbers it's done and all that crap, but like you won't get a sequel.
Horizon
you won't
2
get more DLC.
Tease. I think there's a chance that Horizon 2 tease next year.
Maybe at PSX. Maybe it's Aloy popping in and saying something real quick.
At PSX or Paris Games Week or whatever they decide. What do you think next year? What do you think Sony does with its events? Do you think that they do what they did this year and blow out E3 and Paris Games Week, or do they do what they used to do and blow out E3 and PSX?
I don't know. I think it'll be a clear message if they do Paris Games Week again and they go back with what PSX is here. I think then that's what PSX is now. I don't know if we ever get another really big keynote. However, I don't think they're not dumb. They saw the feedback of people missing that and wanting that, and they're probably being less excitement around the event. But did that matter? I don't really know what their metrics were and what the blog numbers were for people tuning in and seeing stuff, and that people sold out the show all the same. Now that you figure if you go back and you have your expectations set at that, is that fine? Is PSX forever? I don't know what the idea behind that initially was in terms, because I had heard rumors at launch of PSX that it was, they signed a 3-year deals in Vegas, and that was clearly not true, as they immediately got away from there. I'd like to see them do PSX again, but I think it's pretty clear, right? And again, scuttlebutt that you've heard is like the Paris thing was done because, hey, there's SIEE, there's Sony Europe we have to worry about, and they're not worry about, but they're equal partners. They deserve something there. We have to show this side of the world that is another huge market for us that, hey, we care about you.
Yeah.
And that's a great point too.
The thing about that I don't fully buy is the fact that we saw Dreams at PSX and not there. Dreams was such a shoo-in to be at Paris Games Week for those reasons, and it wasn't.
Well, yeah, no, I see what you're saying. But I think that plays into the narrative in the same way that, hey, PlayStation is a global brand. And just because we're in Paris doesn't mean you're only getting Quantic Dream and Media Molecule, which we all made predictions that it would be because historically it has been. Just like historically PSX has been this giant press conference show. I think if anything this year was them trying to be like, nope, we're going to shake that up and we're going to bring the European people over to the American stuff and have their big day. We're going to bring Americans over there and let them have their, like, you know, the fact that Ghost of Tsushima was there. It's an interesting look, and I think it makes sense in terms of, hey, we want to spread the love and we want to make sure that everybody's getting something, because you do feel that it's been a big 16 months for PlayStation America, right? Or Sony Interactive Entertainment America of, hey, cool, you guys are the headquarters now. You know what I mean? Like, for real, the headquarters of PlayStation is no longer in Japan. It's just down the street in San Mateo. That's a big deal. And I feel like as they've adjusted to that role and shifted that around, shifted titles around, right? As like Sean just gets more and more powerful. He's got like the Infinity Gauntlet. It is that you
He
need.
lost the beard.
I know, but he looks so good.
He does.
Dude, when he walked up when we were at the bar, you know, you come downstairs to go to Game Awards, and like you come down and like into your hotel and the bar there, it's just everybody from the industry. And immediately I'm sitting there talking to Herman, having a great time from Gorilla. And Sean walked in and he was like, "Hey, Greg." I'm like, "Holy shit, dude. Like, you look out, he had the glasses on, this like amazing suit." I was
Yeah,
like,
it's all cool.
yeah, I know. I feel like they know they have to spread the love around, and if you want, I'm sure you want Europe to understand and cover you and continue to cover you and make a big deal out of your big events. It makes sense to do that because E3 is always going to be the American event where it is. And if we've now set the PSX bar of excitement and expectation lower, next year it's easier to come in and get over that, right? It is easier to come in and be like, all right, cool. We only need 2 big showcases, 2 big announcements, whatever, 2 big trailers. Because that was the thing about the showcase on Friday night. Went on too long. But if you would have opened with a cool ass trailer come out, I'm glad you enjoyed that. That was a great reveal from one of our first parties. Let's do what PSX is all about, though. Focus on the community. And yes, this is me auditioning just to host the entire thing next year.
Of course, yeah.
Give me more than just the back half. Come out and be like, hey, we're going to do a night with the devs, have that smaller announcement in the middle, and then, oh, hey, and you know what? There is one more thing. Or even if the one more thing was like, let's get a Dreams demo. Let's see a Dreams fucking demo. Let's start with an extended trailer look at Ghost of Tsushima. Let's meet the character from Ghost of Tsushima. Let's do that. Like, it would have been a different narrative, just packaging it a little bit differently. But I think you can lower that bar of expectation because it was people there really dug it. Enjoyed the conference. There was, for the first time ever, I was like, oh, you came from across, was it worth it? And they were like, yeah, I'm enjoying myself. It's cool to be around people. There was expectations set into what you're getting. But like I've said on the show, and I think we've talked about it actually too, of just like, I thought it was weird that Easy Allies did a reaction stream to it.
Yeah.
But I get it. You want to make cover, and there, like you said, there were announcements there. There were announcements there. And I'm like, you know what? You're right, there were. But it was just an interesting way to do it. Mm-hmm. I think you just if I'm them, I'd probably stick to the same exact plan. I'm like, cool, let's have some cool shit at Paris Games Week and have the big beats be E3, Paris Games Week. And PSX, again, still beats there. There's things happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, not go crazy with it.
The last thing I have on the list here in terms of the Sony is Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah,
so
save him.
He's been saved.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know that.
But now that he's been saved,
yeah,
I'm very interested in what happens next. I would have sworn that by now we would have seen an announcement that Crash Insane Trilogy is going to Xbox One at the very least, Switch, I would also expect. The fact that we haven't heard that, like, we don't know the deal. And they've been so weird about the wording of whether or not it's exclusive. And it's come up and popped up. We've seen images of it with the Xbox buttons on the HUD and stuff. So it's like, it's weird that we haven't heard anything. But I would have thought that deal would have been up, and maybe it was a year-long deal. The game came out June 30th this year. So we still got a ways to go before that would happen. Crash, one of the best-selling games of the year, which is shocking to everybody, quite frankly. And they've been continually throughout the year doing a huge push for the game. Mm-hmm. And even in the holidays now, like, they're pushing super hard. You can't go on a website without seeing ads for it. And that's not just Google towards me. It's like I see the promotional push they're doing. And having talked to Activision, I know that they are pushing that way. I wonder what they do. Do they eventually announce the ports? Do we see another Crash Bandicoot game, a new one, come out? And if so,
Team Racing.
If so, does it come out exclusively on PlayStation? Is there some type of Activision Sony deal where they're like, you know what? No, we're doubling down. It is a huge seller, and we're committing to bringing Crash back for real. Yeah, no, like, you know what I mean? Like, let's PS4, Crash Bandicoot, what does that look like? Let's go. I don't know. I think we have to hear
E3.
the future of Crash in 2018. And
Oh yeah, I think it's an E3 thing again. I think that like
but do you think it's Sony? Do you think it's exclusive?
I do.
Man.
I
that excites me.
Well, I mean, because it's what you're saying of like, oh, this happened. I think they must have seen something happening, right? Like of like, oh my god, look at this, the success it's having and all this stuff. And imagine they went back to them like, all right, let's talk real for a second. Like, what do we need to do to make this stick with us? And so yeah, I think you have Sean Layden come back out on stage at E3 this year, and maybe not even him since they don't do that anymore. And he was very vocal about that at PSX, right? Of just like the trailer drops and like, you know, it sold this many units at this thing.
Yeah.
And now the Bandicoot's saved. He's back.
Yeah.
I can see it.
I got chills. I'm sold, Greg. I want that to
Now
happen.
here's where it gets interesting.
Well, I think, is there anything else for Sony that you have?
Yeah, because I've been trying to do crib sheets over here. So 2018, we're all agreed Detroit God of War Spider-Man. We're arguing about other stuff, right? But I started clipping off here. I started doing it by years then, right? Because we feel like we're so hung up on 2018 and maybe things leaking into 2019. 2019 then, and this is a little bit of me, a little bit of you. Devil May Cry, Days Gone, for me, obviously. Dreams. Then 2020, that had, for me, The Last of Us Part 2 and Death Stranding there. I don't think that happens. One of them has to move. And that's where it gets interesting as what goes to 2019. You were already saying Last of Us.
Honestly, I see what you're doing here. I don't think it even matters. So where Sony's at right now, this isn't how they think. Nintendo and Sony right now are in a place where in 2017, they're totally like, it's not where does this fit? And like, let's make sure the years aren't crowded. It's January, February, March, April, May, all the way up through until the third parties take over in the fall. And Nintendo doesn't do that. Sony does.
Yeah.
Nintendo just keeps going because it's all they have. It's first party.
Sure.
So I don't think they're too concerned about crowding a year. I think that is what's going to... I predict that Sony is going to sell more units next year of the PlayStation 4 than it did this year. Right. And I think that that's going to be because of things like God of War and Spider-Man. And I think those games are going to sell even better, and it's just going to keep going. And I think that it just leads into a perfect tee-up for things like Death Stranding and GTA 6 and Last of Us Part 2 at some point.
Okay. Also, fuck you for not putting Patapon 2 Remastered on this.
Oh, yeah, I'm an asshole. I am an asshole. Where does that fall?
This year.
Early 2018.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That thing will
I
pop
think so.
probably in like fucking, with no fanfare by March, if not, you know what I mean?
Well, here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. We were planning on doing this whole show. We were predicting all of 18 for all video games and stuff, but I realized, like, man, starting with Sony, where we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
We went a very long time.
Yeah.
So next week, we will join you to go through the rest. We only got through one page. There was 2 pages left.
I can tell you right now, the Xbox section looks smaller than the PlayStation section.
It is.
The Nintendo section, very large.
And you know what? Because of this, in the comments below, if there's Xbox stuff that you want us to talk about that you don't think that we're going to get to, because obviously we are more invested
State of
in these
motherfucking
Sony.
decay!
That's on the list already. All the big ones are on the list, and there's not many of them. But he's the Sony guy. I'm the Nintendo guy overall in terms of the nitty gritty shit.
If there's why you labeled the Sony guy, you know what I mean?
Hit me up. Let me know what I'm missing.
Let's
Let's go. Thank you guys. You're amazing. Welcome to 2018. I can already
Patreon.com.
tell it's going to be a fantastic year. Patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. It's going to be popping off with a whole bunch of cool shit this year. Thank you for your support. We love you. We'll see you soon.
Kiss Tom Bach.